All of the doors that have arrived have been primed, but they need to be painted. Everything is low VOC, which means volatile organic compound paints in here. So to get lead points, you have to use really quality stuff, things that don't kill people and things that you don't, mind breathing, that kind of stuff. So they're expensive paints at this point, but they're setting a precedent for the rest of the world in terms of you can build this way. It doesn't cost that much more now, and if everybody builds that way, soon it'll be the norm, right? So that's what we're trying to really is set a model for other people building in the area and the region so they can find ways to build that are going to make sense, in the long run. The walls behind you, as you can see, are quite thick. These are 10-inch thick walls, and what they are is they're a layer of 6-inch Roxul with 2-foot studs in between, these 6-inch studs, and then there's another 4 inches of Roxul. The Roxul insulation is the stuff that's made in Grand Forks, so it's a local product that way, made from minerals, and super fire resistant. 10-inch wall, so you've got basically an R22 and 14, so 36 walls, which is phenomenal compared to what your standard is for houses nowadays. So, plus they're staggered studs, so there's no places where the heat or the cold conducts through on the studs as they do in normal construction. So this is going to be a really warm building in the winter and a really cool building in the summer with very little energy to keep it that way. We dug 2 wells over here, so everything runs off of geothermal. So the floors have radiant pipes in them, so you can run with radiant floors. You can run the temperature at 68 degrees or whatever that is. Instead of 72, which you need to do to force air, because it's actually warmer feeling coming up from your feet first. And then we've got a yoga room back there, and people are just going to love lying on the floor when it's heated in the wintertime. So it's going to be very comfortable. But anyhow, people walk in. This is the main entrance, obviously. Right underneath this little bulkhead on the top there is going to be the Visitors Information Center, and people will come to, that's kind of their first stop if they're new to the region. So the chamber will have somebody here pretty well all the time. Just the toilets will be over there. The cafe will be back there. So, make their pit stop, get a coffee, come browse what's here, and then as they start to wander around, this is going to be the whole the gallery over here. And the gallery is basically to showcase, as you put in your press release, all of the local artists and artisans. So there'll be, there's a fabulous collection of artists in this area, but a lot of them, they really don't have a lot of places to show their stuff, and we're hoping this will be a magnet for people to come and really see what's possible and what people are doing in the area. Her husband does amazing woodwork and stuff.
My son's also
but you never see it. And her son is an amazing painter. So, things like that, but, you don't really see that kind of stuff coming out of the woodwork. So we're hoping Jim will kind of,
Yeah, and he's got a show in Quebec right now, and it'd be nice to have it here, because he's not known there. Yeah. He's known here. Yeah. So that's the good part about it. Yeah. Yeah, the canoes and the paddles, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So, we can take a little wander over here if you want. Just kind of give you a scope of the building. We're recycling, reusing as much as possible. All of the waste drywall is going into the walls for extra sound deadening and less waste to go into the landfills. Same thing with the insulation. We've piled tons of insulation scraps into the ceilings wherever they can. So we've got phenomenal insulation in the ceiling on these things. And the rest of it is going to go back to Roxul and be recycled. They'll take it back and reprocess it again. So, again, you get points for putting very little stuff into the landfill, and that's really amazing in the future. You've got to reduce what we're throwing away, and they just throw away. Right? So, this is our little our yoga meeting room studio. There's actually windows up in those clear stories that they're not there and cut out yet. But 90% of the building has natural light to all the rooms. I think there's just 1 or 2 little bathrooms that don't have natural light to them. So, year-round you're going to have a very nice ambiance in the whole building. This is all fire rated. This hat track is actually double wall of drywall here to make this whole thing very impervious to fire. So, it'd be a nice little little meeting room, yoga room, that kind of thing. And
That's a pretty big space.
it is, yeah. Yeah. It's about 600 square feet. For our next million. Phase 2 is going to be running out, and the far side of these trees here, that's going to be the whole studio center. And that's really the economic engine of this whole thing. We've produced a lot of jobs just in the process of making this thing. And in running it, there'll be 3 or 4 jobs created. But what we really want to create is a lot more jobs in the area, and we want to create an economic driver that's year-round. There's a whole gravel bed, there's a special drainage rock in there, filtering material, and what that allows for is all of the runoff that comes off of the roofs here will go into that and actually get filtered out through all the medium. That then goes into a dry well. If things get to where we get tremendous runoff, those pipes actually get cut lower, and there's little filters that go on the top, and everything will go into the dry well. So it'll keep things from flooding here. But it filters all of the water. It's particularly important on the other side, where we have runoff from the parking lot and that kind of thing, because there's 2 bioswales on that side as well, and there'll be, you get oil and grease and that kind of thing dripping up from cars, right? Let's go have a look at the wastewater. This is designed to be big enough to process everything from this center, the next phase of the studio center, businesses across the street, which have very inferior water and sewage systems right now because they're all on septic. And then there's a proposed seniors center that housing center that we're talking about in the park here as well. So we're trying to build something that looks towards the future as far as handling the amount of wastewater in the area, but handling it in the biological way. This is no chemicals added, no chlorination at the end, nothing. It's all done through natural processes. And it's basically just plants eating up the poop. Snails, fish, you can raise orchids. There's a lot of opportunity for educational things to happen here. And Lucinda spent years working with John Todd, who was the originator and designer of the kids about how our ecosystems work, and it's an amazing process. And it's so simple. All under one roof, and you really get it when you see the whole thing happening. So this whole south side will be glass, and then the rest of it will be what's called tip walls, which are foam walls that are made out of 2 layers of steel or aluminum with foam in between. So there are already big panels that'll go up into place, but it'll go up fast once he's got the framework started.
Very graceful looking structure.
Yeah, and it'll have a catwalk up top, so we'll be able to bring groups along the top and look down at all the plants growing, because this will be filled with big round, I think 8-foot high tanks, and those will all have the plants in them. So you'll be able to walk above the plants and see everything growing there, and look down and see the fish swimming. And you have snails in there, and the snails are one of the best indicators of whether it's a healthy system or not. If the snails start to crawl the walls, there's something in there that's nasty.
Yeah, they abandon ship.
They do. They're the first ones to get out. So they're like the canary in the coal mine, right?
Yeah.
But this will connect eventually over to our road over there, and it'll be an RV sandy dump as well, once we educate people with RVs. Right now they use a lot of nasty stuff in RVs, and we don't want that being dumped in here in great quantities, because it will actually kill off the healthy bacteria. So as more and more people get educated about using biological methods in their RVs, we can use this as a sanitary